Beware. Risk of dad wisdom overload at barbecues and hardware store run-ins.
Hey, welcome back to Dad Space. It's the podcast for dads by dads. I am a dad. Well, there you go. I am an empty nest dad. My name is Dave. I live in Ontario, Canada. And I love meeting dads. And I love supporting dads. So whether your daughter, your son is like 3 months old and you haven't slept in 3 months, or you're like me and my kids are grown-up adults who still need my money, but not my advice. This is Dad Space. I'm glad you're here. We are finishing up our 4-act review of Daniel Pink's video about starting off 2026. Well, I understand this is coming out near the end of February. I understand. We're like 2 months late, Dave. I know. But there's some good stuff in here. And like today could be January 1st. We could just arbitrarily decide that. That's fine. We're dads. We can make decisions, right? We'll ask our partner for advice, for permission first, and then we'll make decisions. Yes, I love it. We are looking at Act 4. There's 3 other episodes ahead of this. We put it into a playlist on YouTube, if that makes it easier for you. That we have one link if you want to share it with another dad, if you found value in this. Daniel's video is amazing. So it's worth it just to go watch that alone. But I'd love for you to see how we recap and refocus Daniel's video for 2026 and starting your year off right into a dad focus conversation. So we're looking at connecting and renewing as dads. Strengthen what strengthens you as a dad. It's time to wrap up this little mini series, and I'm glad you're here. We're going to be talking about curating your own circle of people in your life. Who do you need as a dad? Creating a to-don't list, not a to-do, to-don't. Taking micro Sabbaths, and also sending out 26, because it's 2026, 26 thank you notes and why you should do that as a dad. Glad you're here. Let's go. The one thing Daniel's encouraging us to do in the video as you watch it, please go watch it because it's amazing. I've been watching it over and over and over as I've been going through these first few months of 2026, is Daniel's encouraging us to build a challenge network. Compliments feel good, right? As a dad, we love when people say, good job, you're doing great, kids are awesome, your family's happy, wonderful. But they don't always help you grow. Honest feedback does. And Daniel talks about psychologist Adam Grant, who suggests creating a small group of people who care enough to tell you the truth and ask better questions like, what's one thing I could do better? Or try a weekly feedback Friday, send one piece of your work, or talk about your parenting with somebody who you trust and ask for one suggestion to improve your approach to being a dad. 2 or 3 honest critics are enough to keep you sharp and improving. And what I love is Daniel breaks down 3 people that we need as a dad in our inner circle, in our corner. And these 3 people are super important. And I would say, and I agree with Daniel on this, these are 3 different people, not one person with these 3 different attributes. I'm looking for 3 separate people. I think this would be interesting. So let's talk more about what Daniel talks about in the video in Act 4. Daniel talks about the fact that your relationships shape your habits, and they also shape your mindset. And he talks about research that shows emotions and behaviors, good and bad, spread through social networks. Don't just drift into connections, but choose them. Like, be super selective in these 3 people we're going to talk about. And we need a balanced circle that has 3 key people in it. And I love how he breaks this down. They all start with C, easy to remember, in the show notes, but also go watch Daniel's video for more. He talks first about a challenger. Now, what's a challenger? Why do we need a challenger? A challenger is somebody who pushes you and speaks honestly to you. This person, your challenger, has permission to say the hard stuff to you as a dad. It's not all fluffy and pats on the back and you're doing great. It's, hey, you messed up here, or you handled that wrong, Like, you blew up at your wife and that was horrible. Don't do that again. Like that kind of talk, right? The way you parent your kids, it's not working. Letting them run all over the place with no discipline and no boundaries, it's not working. I can tell you it's not working. And you need to fix this. That kind of challenger. They can say the tough stuff and you don't get your back up because you trust them. They can speak into your life. A challenger. The second one he wants us to have, a totally different person, is a cheerleader. Now, a cheerleader is not a challenger. A cheerleader loves you for who you are. They just think you're the world. Like, you can't do anything wrong in front of a cheerleader. You could have, like football. The cheerleaders, they don't care if they missed a play or whatever. They're up there cheering as if the game's going in our direction and everything's great, even though it's not. They're there to pump everybody up and get the crowd going and get the team back into the game. That's a cheerleader. Do you have a cheerleader? Do you have somebody who is just like in your corner, rah, rah, and just pushing you forward with encouragement? They don't harp on the flaws. They focus on the wins. A cheerleader. So we need a challenger, say hard things, a cheerleader who ignores failures and just focuses on building you up. And then the third person is a coach. Why do we need a coach? Well, you look at sports. Right now when I'm recording this, the Olympics is going on in Italy. You look at those highly trained professional athletes. Like I'm watching the hockey stuff because I'm in Canada and Canadian hockey is pretty big up here. You watch these players, multi-million-dollar players, and they're just a machine. Like you see them, they're just built for the game. And you think these guys don't need a coach. Obviously, at this level, they don't need a coach. But they all have a coach. Everyone, basketball, football, hockey, football, soccer, what do you want to call it? Everybody's got a coach. Why do they need coaches? Because the coach can see things that the players can't. The player is in the game. The player is not focused on the big view. The player is not focused on the things that the coaches can focus on. So a coach brings life, brings insight, perspective that the person in the game can't see. A coach for you as a dad is somebody who can give you insight to being a father that you don't know yet. It could simply be you're a new dad, 3-month-old baby, talking to a dad who has 3 adult children out of the house. In that moment, the dad that's out of the house, the dad with the kids out of the house, has more insight into the breadth of family dynamics growing up through the years. Yes, that coach is coached from a different time frame than you are with a 3-month-old, but don't erase their knowledge and wisdom and their love for you as a fellow dad, because having somebody down the path from you can tell you where the pitfalls are and where not to step. So even though they're kind of distant from where you are today, they still bring great value. And just like sports, every player has a coach. So we need a challenger, says hard things, and is allowed to get away with it without us getting angry at them. They do it because they love us. A cheerleader who just sees past all of the negative and focuses on the positive. And a coach who's there to give you perspective when you can't see what's ahead and gives you wisdom because they've been there and they've tried things, they've failed, and they've got suggestions to help you. A coach can simply be a book, a resource, a podcast. It could be anything that fills you up and gets you thinking about something you're not thinking about. You need a challenger, a cheerleader, and a coach. And I'm glad that Daniel talks about that in the video. Go to the link in the podcast episode and watch Daniel's video. It's homework. It's mandatory. You got to go watch. It's only 26 minutes. You can do that. Go check it out. Curate your circle. Super important. Next, create a to-don't list. This is powerful. Growth doesn't come by simply adding more to the list. It's also about stripping and stopping what doesn't matter from your life. Each quarter, and I love how he talks about this, instead of looking at the year as 365 days, break it up into seasons, just like we have, winter spring, summer, fall. Break it up into seasons, into chunks. It's easier to maintain and monitor and measure when it's in smaller increments. So treat each of these quarters as separate measurable containers that you can focus on. And you can ask yourself, what's not worth my time in this season? And then drop one commitment, one meeting, one project that adds little value to your life, and remove all the low impact tasks that frees up your time to focus on what truly counts. So what are you going to get rid of in 2026? What are you going to get rid of this new year that doesn't serve you and eats away at your time? That's your to-don't list. And I love that he talks about that. So go create that and follow Daniel's instructions in the video because he breaks down how to do this. I'm not giving you all the details because this is Daniel's content. I want you to go see what he talks about. I think it's going to bring you a lot of value. Create a to-don't list. Next, take micro Sabbaths. So a Sabbath, historically, is taking a day and setting it aside and doing basically nothing and recharging your batteries. A long time ago, when I was little, there was, up here in Canada, we had all of the businesses were closed on Sunday. Whether you had any kind of religious background or not, every store was only open Monday to Saturday. Sundays, stores were closed. You couldn't get food on Sunday. You couldn't buy anything on Sunday. And then slowly over time, that was eroded and taken away. The one thing, again, doesn't matter if you have faith, belief, and background at all. That's totally irrelevant. The one thing about having a single day every week where everybody agreed to take a day off, people didn't have to work, which is one thing. Everybody had the opportunity to be home with their family or go fishing or play golf or whatever. But everybody agreed that one day off was a good idea. So everybody benefited. Nobody had to work. Good. That's a good point. But you also had the idea that we all need time for ourselves. And now in a 24-hour, 7-day-a-week, 365-day world, the opportunity of taking little breaks, it's not popular. It doesn't happen in North America. In some other countries, they have it baked into their culture, and I love it. The whole idea of a siesta and all of that is just, it's built into the fabric of that community and not so much around the world. So creating our own micro Sabbaths is one thing that Daniel encourages us to do, to balance movement with stillness. And he talks about a micro Sabbath is a short daily pause, 10 to 15 minutes with no phone, no screens, no tasks. Just breathe, sit quiet, step outside, go for a walk. These moments restore your mind, reduce your stress, and help creativity return. It's maintenance. It's not being lazy. And he encourages you, he admonishes you to take these breaks because you need them. You need them. So make this a priority in 2026. Make it happen. Next, and then lastly, send 26 thank you notes. So you're going to have to catch up because we're already 2 months in, but send 26 thank you notes and send out gratitude that strengthens relationships and boosts your happiness. Daniel talks about studies showing that writing a thank you note increases life satisfaction and reduces your stress. And this year, send out 26 notes, one every 2 weeks, and keep them short, sincere, and specific. Gratitude will help lift your mood and deepens connections. It gets you out of your own head. It gets you focused on others and showing your gratitude. We talk about men receive flowers once in their life, generally at their funeral. We, as men, can symbolically give other men in our life their flowers. And anyone in our family or connections outside of our inner circle, we need to support them and tell them what they mean to us. So give them their flowers in 2026. It really helps. And to finish this off, Daniel's encouraging us to pick 2 or 3 of the main ideas in all 4 of the acts that he covers in the video. A better year doesn't just happen. We as dads need to create it. So my encouragement for you as we wrap up these 4 acts is to look at the video, first of all, watch it multiple times, make your own notes for yourself, but act. Don't just take in information, and store it inside of you and never put it into practice, that doesn't serve you. That is just wasted hard drive space for you in your brain. You need to act on this and put it into practice. When you put it into practice, it becomes routine, and routine becomes something that's predictable, and that's something you can measure. So get it out of your head, get it out of your heart, get it out of your thoughts, and get it into action and see the results. I'd love to hear your thoughts on how you're taking these 4 acts from Daniel Pink and how you're applying them to your life as a dad in 2026. I would love to hear from you. Dadspace.ca. There's a link to my podcast. There's a link to my Buy Me a Coffee. There's a link to my SpeakPipe. And on the SpeakPipe is where you can leave me a voice message. So no matter where you are in the world, completely free to hear from you. I love to hear where you're from and how Dad Space is helping you in 2026. Would just love to hear from you. Thanks for being here. Take care. Hey, dads, thank you so much for being here. Thank you for being part of the podcast. Thank you for following the show. I'd encourage you to do just so if you haven't done so already. Look at your phone. There's like a little follow button or subscribe, or I don't know what it says on your screen, but there's like a little button at the top of the screen. If you click that button, that means every time a new episode of Dad Space shows up, it goes right to your phone. It's waiting for you whenever you're ready. So you don't have to try to remember, what's the name of that show? Space Dad? No, Dad Space. It'll show up right there for you if you follow the show. That'd be great. If you listen on Spotify, like I do, I'm a Spotify user. You can actually leave a comment in every episode, and I will respond as your faithful host to any comments you leave in the episodes. So please jump in. Love to read your comments, your thoughts about the episode. That'd be fun. And if ever you just want to just hang out with another dad, you got a few moments on your time in your day, in your week, and you're like, I'd just like to grab a virtual coffee with Dave. You can always buy us a coffee at buymeacoffee.com, but you could also just join me for a virtual coffee and we could just chat about dad stuff. I'm always looking forward to meet the people who listen to this show. That brings me a lot of joy. So dadspace.ca, all the information in the show notes. And thank you for being here. And thank you for sharing this podcast with one other dad. I really appreciate you. Have a great day, and we'll talk to you on the next episode. Take care.